The 2025 Chicago Bears will win the NFC North. But I'm not just saying that to say it. I'm saying it because I've done a little research, and that is what the research is telling me. Welcome back to Bears Yard. This your boy Vipe, and I want to do a little research into how good Ben Johnson might do given his first year as head coach of the Chicago Bears. So essentially what I did was I went back and I looked at recent first-time head coaches who were also offensive-minded, and I looked at who their quarterback was and the record and what they accomplished during their first years as head coaches. So let's start off with the most popular one, of course, Sean McVay. So Sean McVay got hired to be the LA Rams head coach back in 2017. And when he got hired to be the head coach, his quarterback was none other than the current Lions quarterback, Jared Goff. During Sean McVay's first year, the Rams went 11-5. McVay actually won Coach of the Year. He won the division title, and he had a league top scoring offense that year. But unfortunately for them, they lost to the Falcons in the wildcard game of the playoff that year. So 11-5, Coach of the Year, Jared Goff is the quarterback. So very good first year for Sean McVay. Not to mention, he was only 30 years old at the time he became a head coach, which is just wild to me. You're watching Bears Yard, your home of opinionated Chicago Bears talk, Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube. So if you don't want to miss an episode, hit that subscribe button. Next up, Kyle Shanahan, who got hired the same year that McVay got hired in 2017 to be the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, as we know, Kyle Shanahan was coming off a loss in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady and the Patriots when he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons the year before. But in Kyle Shanahan's first year, believe it or not, the 49ers went 6-10, but their quarterback was Brian Hoyer. So not too much from Kyle Shanahan, although they did have a 4-game win improvement from the year before he got there to the year he got hired. So, I mean, you can't do much even when you're Kyle Shanahan when your quarterback is Brian Hoyer. But we all know how Shanahan had risen up since the days of Brian Hoyer. So safe to say that once he got a better quarterback in hand, his output was a lot better for the Niners. Which brings me to recent happenings in the NFC North. Matt Nagy, yeah. When the Bears hired Matt Nagy back in 2018, he was 39 years old. And his quarterback was freshly drafted Mitch Trubisky. That was Mitch's second year with the Bears. And Matt Nagy was obviously a first-time head coach, offensive head coach, coming from the Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid. But in Matt Nagy's first year, the Bears won the NFC North with a record of 12-4. But unfortunately, as we know all too well in Chicago, the Bears did lose in the playoff that year in the wild card because of the double doing. Don't even want to talk about it. But first-time head coach, 12-4, won the NFC North. Matt Nagy, Mitch Trubisky, there you go. Kevin O'Connell, who got hired a couple of years ago by the Minnesota Vikings. He was 35 at the time. His quarterback at the time also was Kirk Cousins, who is now a part of the Atlanta Falcons. But back in 2022, the Vikings went 13-4 in the NFC North, which actually won them the division. So Kevin O'Connell, Matt Nagy both won the NFC North in their first year as head coaches. And unfortunately for the Vikings, they also lost in a wild card round to the Giants that year, but they made the playoffs, so there you go. Let's talk about Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay Packers head coach, who became head coach of the Packers back in 2019. He was 39 at the time. Obviously, quarterback was one Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you pair a offensive-minded head coach with an Aaron Rodgers, good things are probably going to happen, and they did for the Packers, much to our dismay. But Matt LaFleur went 13-3 his first year as a head coach. They won the NFC North, and they made it to the NFC title game in Matt LaFleur's first year before they ended up losing ultimately to the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. So 3 coaches that were first-time coaches recently in the NFC North won the NFC North in their first year. Matt Nagy, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell all won the NFC North in their very first year. And let's just throw in one more first-time head coach for some more data. Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals. He was 35 at the time he was hired back in 2019. Unfortunately for him, his quarterback was Andy Dalton, and they finished with a 2-14 record. So not very good for Zach Taylor. Obviously, the Bengals have been to a Super Bowl since then because of Joe Burrow. But yeah, not a good look. Which brings us now to Ben Johnson and what he might do his first year. So, if history is any indication, you got Ben Johnson, who got hired this year, 38 years old. His quarterback will be a second-year Caleb Williams, one of the most talked about quarterbacks of the past 10 years coming out of college, who had a pretty damn good rookie season. And this is who Ben Johnson gets paired with in his first-time head coaching gig. So, if history is any indication, I said it before and I'll say it again, the Chicago Bears will win the NFC North in 2025 because of the pairing of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. And we know what happened last year with the NFC North losing in the playoffs, all of them. Vikings, Packers, Lions, they all lost in the playoffs. This division is wide open. Anything can happen in 2025 this year in the NFC North. So hopefully Ryan Poles goes out there in free agency in the draft and get Ben Johnson the pieces that he needs to compete in this division and win it in 2025, because there's no reason why the Bears should not be able to win the division this year, given the talent that we already have and the talent that we could potentially acquire this offseason. But Bears fans, let me know, do you believe the Bears can win the division here next season coming up? Drop a comment, and if you want more opinionated Bears chat, hit that video right there.